Hey team, Jen here. I am coming to you at the top of week 8, and finally, I feel like things are coming together for so many students in this course in week 8. Um, Reading the last bunch of reaction papers and seeing students' morale start to lift, even though it's been stressful. The last week was very stressful, week 7. But here in week 8, we have some space to really focus on the joy of reading and our final project. From here all the way through the end of the course to the last drop of week 10, you have some elbow room to kind of take some time for yourself and for your own development as a writer and as a critical reader. That's good news. Here in week 8, we begin to read Salman Rushdie's Midnight's Children. Now, this book is long, it's involved, it is supposedly a postmodern text. I really want to know what you think about that. What is the postmod? Is this book postmodern? Um, anyway, that's for your discussion forum this week. But Salman Rushdie's Midnight's Children is a zigzaggy book, and it definitely makes you think about the craft of writing quite a bit, and the choices that Rushdie has made in writing this novel. This week you also have a discussion forum post on the text, and as usual, you don't have to write about postmodern technique in Salman Rushdie's novel. You will not be writing a response paper to Rushdie. So this week and next week, weeks 8 and 9, I'd like you to use the discussion forum specifically as a place to explore all of the ideas that you might have written about if you were to write a response paper about this novel. Um, Make as many main posts as you like. I want you to really use the discussion board extensively this week and next week to discuss Rushdie's novel because, as I said, that's the only chance we're going to have to kind of get out our thoughts about the novel. Unless, of course, you're somebody who's writing your final paper project on Midnight's Children. Here in week 8 as well, we have a very important workshop due. The workshop this week is asking you to identify your argument for your paper. Now, your argument is something that you've been working on throughout the term, of course, right? Because ethos is always at the forefront of what we do as academics. But this is the chance for you to show us the culmination of your critical thinking. Argumentation is so important in this genre. So I want you to really hunker down. And for the workshop this week, I want you to articulate probably not just one argument, but some successive arguments that piggyback on each other that are going to show me how your paper will move along through processes of argumentation. Those processes should probably include some stakes and some counter argument as well. Make sure that you're really hitting every step along the line of inquiry in terms of argumentation in this week's post. I want to see that you have the foundational moves to really make an essay that conforms to the academic genre. Feel free to visit my overview video on how to make an argument. I want to see you making firm, aggressive judgments. That means that you have to pick a side. You have to tell me something is right or wrong or good or bad in a very basic way. It can become more sophisticated, of course, but that's a good starting place for a basic argumentation. I also want to see that you are acknowledging counter argument. So thinking about what a naysayer would bring to this argumentation process. And also, of course, stakes. I was so thrilled to see so many graduate students bringing stakes to their last reaction paper. For me, that is a sign of a true, solid academic, somebody who can really pinpoint what the stakes are of their position. That's almost more important than the position itself. So if you aren't sure what I mean by stakes, if you aren't sure what I mean by judgment, and if you're not sure what I mean by a naysayer or counter argument or what that looks like, then please watch my overview video on argumentation before you make your workshop post this week. The second part of your workshop post asks that you also identify your lens. Now, at this point in the term, we're almost done. I expect that most of you will probably be working with a number of lenses. You're not limited to the lenses that I list in the prompt, so you can bring in any lens that you want. You can bring in um, any branch of cultural studies, for example. There's so many branches of that. You can bring in narratology. I mean, whatever you want. It's not limited to the very few that are listed in the prompt. But I think that most academics tend to mingle their theoretical approaches, and I think they should, personally. Is there value in writing your entire research paper in a feminist criticism lens without touching on anything else? I doubt it. I just don't think there's a lot of merit in that. What do you think? Is it fruitful to only write in one theoretical lens? And is it possible to only write in one theoretical lens? If you want to explore questions like that, feel free to post your inquiries and your observations in the student lounge. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and don't be stressed out if you received a 0 on your rough draft. If you are a student who submitted the rough draft doesn't count for any points toward your final grade. So make sure that you keep that in mind as we go forward. I hope you guys have a wonderful week and keep your eye on the prize. You're really almost there.